For my 30th birthday, I booked a cozy family dinner at our favorite restaurant. No one came. A few weeks later, my mom sent out invitations for my little sister's 25th. A big life milestone. Price of admission? $500 per person. So I sent her $1 with the note. For your big celebration. Some months later, a police officer knocked on my door because my parents told everyone I was mentally unstable. Let me tell you how we got there. My name is Kate Walker. I was 29, and all of this happened right before I hit 30. That magic age when relatives suddenly decide your uterus is on a countdown and your personality is up for public discussion. I'm a freelance graphic designer in Portland, Maine. I do branding for small businesses, logos, color palettes, social media headers. Nothing glamorous, just deadlines, coffee, and way too many Zoom calls. Work comes in through referrals and a couple of freelance platforms. 2 years ago, my income was finally steady enough to get a mortgage on a tiny one-bedroom condo. The interest rate is rude. The payment eats about a third of what I make. But it's mine. When the walls start closing in, I pack up my laptop and go to a co-working space downtown that overlooks the harbor. I sit by the window, pretend the fishing boats are my coworkers, and answer client emails about how the logo should be brighter but calmer. Somehow. Growing up, I was the quiet, easy kid. Straight-A student, no drama, did what I was told. My little sister Maddie? The opposite. You probably know this dynamic. The younger one is a walking excuse. You want a new iPhone, Maddie? Of course, sweetheart. You failed your finals? It's okay. You'll retake them. Meanwhile, I was the one who didn't need anything. Our parents, Linda and Robert Walker, are a very average American couple. My dad works in supply at a boat repair yard. My mom runs the front desk at a private dental clinic on Maple Street. No one's rich. No one's starving. They still live in the same neighborhood where we grew up, about 40 minutes from me if the highway isn't being a nightmare. Maddie still lives with them. I moved out right after college. She never quite launched. Different story. The important part is, I always told myself I wasn't resentful, or I thought I wasn't, right up until my 30th was on the horizon. 2 weeks before my birthday, I sat in my little condo and tried to figure out how to celebrate. I didn't want some big party with half strangers from the co-working space. I wanted something small and real. There's this restaurant on the waterfront, Harbor House, that's been around since the 90s. It's where we went for every special occasion when I was a kid. Their fish cakes are legendary. Their chowder tastes like the Atlantic in a good way. I decided that's where I'd turn 30. Just me and my family. Simple. I called my mom. It rang forever before she picked up. In the background, the TV was blasting some reality talk show where everyone screams over each other. "Hey, Mom, I wanted to ask about my birthday," I said. "I thought we could all go to Harbor House. Just family. You, Dad, Maddie, and me. I'll book a table for 4 at 6 p.m. on Saturday the 14th. She went quiet for a beat. "Fine. We'll come," she said finally, like I'd suggested a trip to the DMV. That was it. No, "Oh, that sounds lovely. No, we'd love to." Just, fine. I told myself she was tired. Long day at work. Good mood postponed. After we hung up, I texted Maddie. "Hey, 14th, 6 p.m., Harbor House. Family dinner for my birthday. You coming?" She replied almost instantly. "Okay, I'll be there." No enthusiasm, but at least she answered. Low bar, but still. I booked a table for 4 by the window. The hostess even remembered us. Said it was nice to see me again, and made a note about my birthday. I actually felt a little flutter of anticipation. The next 2 weeks, I threw myself into prep. I found a dark blue dress at Harborview Mall. Not ball gown dramatic, but definitely nicer than my usual Zoom from waist up outfits. It cost about what I usually spend on groceries for a week. I told myself turning 30 happens only once. I got a haircut, did my nails, tried very hard to feel like a main character instead of background extra. Work, of course, chose that week to explode. 3 clients all wanted final designs by Friday. So I camped out at the co-working space every evening, tinkering with fonts and colors while people asked, "So how are you celebrating?" I told them about the family dinner. Everyone smiled and said, "That's so sweet. Very cozy." Saturday came. The weather was strangely mild for a March in Maine. Blue sky, barely any wind. I cleaned the apartment, ran a load of laundry, took my time in the shower, did my makeup carefully, and slid into the new dress. In the mirror, I thought, for 30, I don't look too bad. I got to Harbor House 10 minutes early. The hostess, woman in her 50s, recognized me right away and led me to our table by the window, already set for 4. The place smelled like dill, fresh bread, and something buttery and fishy that made my stomach growl. I sat, ordered a glass of red, and started waiting. 6 p.m. No one. I checked my phone. No texts. No missed calls. Weird, but okay. It's Saturday. Maybe traffic is awful. 6:15. Still no sign of them. I started to get that little prickle of worry. I called my mom. Long rings. Then it cut off. I called my dad. Same thing. Texted, "I'm at the restaurant." "Where are you?" Nothing. Our waiter, a young guy named Anthony who's been there a few years, came over. "Want to order while you wait?" he asked gently. You could see he was already feeling bad for me. "Let's give them a few more minutes." I tried to smile. 6:30. My heart was doing that slow, heavy thud. What if there'd been an accident? A flat tire? Something with Dad's heart? I called again. Voicemail. Texted both of them. "Mom, Dad, I'm getting worried. Just let me know you're okay." The other diners had started glancing over. One woman at a nearby table kept looking at the 3 empty chairs around me. Woman alone at a table for 4, staring at her phone. You know the picture. By 7, my cheeks were burning. Anthony came back. "Are you sure you don't want anything? I can bring something small." I wanted to sink through the floor. "They're just running late," I said. "They'll be here soon." Even as I said it, I knew something was off. My family may not be saints, but disappearing without a single text? All 3 at once? That wasn't them. 7:30. My phone finally buzzed. Text from my mom. I opened it, already braced for a car wreck or a burst pipe. "Honey, I'm sorry. We're at Harborview Mall with Maddie picking out a dress for her birthday. Didn't notice how time flew. Happy birthday." I read it 3 times. They were picking out a dress for Maddie's birthday, the one that was a month away. While I sat alone at a restaurant table I'd booked for my 30th, the one I'd reminded them about 2 weeks earlier. I wanted to write back paragraphs, say everything at once, how they'd hurt me, how betrayed I felt, how this was the ugliest thing anyone had ever done to me. My fingers hovered over the screen, but nothing came out. I put the phone face down, waved Anthony over. "Can you pack everything to go?" I asked. He blinked. "Sure. Family emergency?" "Yeah," I lied. They couldn't make it. I hadn't even ordered yet. I just asked him to box the things I'd planned to share. Fish cakes, chowder, a couple of salads. He nodded, gave me that soft, pitying look people save for dumped brides and abandoned puppies, and took the menus away. By the time I walked out, my phone was buzzing with birthday messages from friends and coworkers. I ignored them all. Pretending to be happy felt impossible. I went home, put the takeout straight in the fridge, climbed into bed, and basically didn't exist for 3 days. After that, life insisted on happening again. My best friend Jenny Reed, who sits across from me at the co-working space, slid into my DMs. "So, How was the big family dinner? Everyone else was asking too. I wrote back that there'd been a family emergency and we'd postponed. It was easier than explaining. Jenny cornered me on a Wednesday. Look, she said, Friday night. The dock. That bar by the co-working space. We're doing a proper birthday. No excuses. Okay, I agreed. On Friday, there were about 10 of us crammed around a long table at the dock, drinking decent beer, swapping horror stories about clients and their revisions, and singing happy birthday while I blew out a candle stuck in a cupcake from the bakery down the street. No drama, no raised voices, no guilt. Just friends having a good time. It was simple. And it hurt a little, realizing how much easier it was with people who didn't share my DNA. What happened at Harbor House might have been survivable on its own. I could have filed it under "my parents are thoughtless" and moved on. But it wasn't a one-off. During that coffee shop showdown later, I actually made a mental list. They skipped my childhood art contest, where I won second place, because Maddie had a dance recital. They missed my presentation at a college research conference because Maddie didn't feel like staying home alone. They showed up 45 minutes late to my honors thesis defense because they had to drop Maddie off at a friend's house first. I sat alone while other people took photos with their families. Last year, when I got promoted to senior designer at a firm before I went freelance, they didn't come to the staff party because Maddie had a cold. Not COVID. A cold. Meanwhile, they never missed any of her stuff. Not the dance competitions, not the school plays where she had 2 lines, not the barely organized showcases at the community theater. I had always told myself I was being oversensitive, that they loved us both equally. I just happened to be more independent. Skipping my 30th for a shopping trip? That was the finish line. I tried to let the dust settle. A few weeks passed. My birthday was officially old news. Then one night, an email pinged from my mom, CCing half the extended family. Subject line: Maddie's 25th birthday celebration. Important info. You know when your stomach drops before your brain has even processed the words? That. She'd booked a fancy banquet hall at a hotel in town. Maddie's 25th was an important milestone, a quarter of a century, a once-in-a-lifetime event. There would be a DJ, photographer, custom decorations. Very big deal. And then the kicker. We're asking each adult guest to contribute $500 toward the celebration. If this is too difficult, please understand if we can't include you. We want people who truly support Maddie on her special day. $500 per person, after they couldn't even bother to show up and eat fish cakes on my 30th. I walked circles around my condo, muttering to myself like a street lunatic. $500? Are you kidding me? I opened my banking app and pulled up my mom's account from the last time I'd transferred her money. For a second, I considered ignoring the whole thing. Just delete the email and move on. Then a better idea arrived. Petty, yes, but satisfying. I transferred her $1. In the memo line I wrote, "For your big life celebration." Then I blocked my mom, my dad, and Maddie everywhere. Phone, text, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. If they wanted to act like I didn't exist, fine. I could return the favor. The next morning, I called a locksmith. When I'd bought the condo 2 years earlier, I'd given my parents a spare set of keys. Just in case. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Now it felt like a liability. The locksmith swapped out the lock cylinder. New keys, old ones useless. We were done sharing access. 2 days later, I caught a nasty flu, so I was working from the couch in sweatpants, wrapped in a blanket with my laptop balanced precariously on a pillow. That's the lovely thing about freelancing. You can design logos from under a comforter as long as the Wi-Fi holds. Around lunchtime, someone pounded on the door. Not a polite knock. The kind of pounding people use when they know you're home and think they're entitled to your time. I jumped, spilled tea on my keyboard, and crept to the peephole. There they were. All three of them, Mom, Dad, Maddie, standing like they owned the place. Mom was digging through her purse. I knew exactly what she was looking for. The spare keys. Good luck with that, Linda, I thought. I heard the faint scrape of metal in the lock. Nothing. Try again, my dad muttered. Another scrape. Then my mom shrieked, Kate, open this door right now! We know you're in there! The lights are on! I stayed silent. This is beyond disrespectful, Maddie's high-pitched voice chimed in. You're acting like a child. $1? Seriously? You embarrassed us in front of everyone. So I had embarrassed them. Interesting. Kate Walker, my mom barked in the same terrifying tone she'd used when I was 6 and broke a plate. If you don't open this door immediately, there will be consequences. Consequences? What exactly? Grounding me? I'm 30. I pay my own mortgage. I put on my noise-canceling headphones, turned on white noise, and went back to editing a client's design mock-up. They yelled and rattled the handle for about 20 minutes. Then the noise moved away. Through the window, I watched them stomp back to their car, my mom waving her arms dramatically, probably explaining to the universe what an ungrateful daughter I was. Maddie's big day rolled around soon after. I held out until evening, then, I'll admit it, I cracked. I unblocked my mom on Facebook for 5 minutes to look at the photos. The venue itself looked expensive. Gold balloons, pink ribbons, white tablecloths. Very Instagram. But the room was basically empty. Maybe 15 people max. My parents, Maddie, and a handful of others scattered around a sea of vacant chairs. Maddie's smile was stretched and brittle, like a mannequin. My parents looked like they were at a funeral. I took screenshots. Reblocked my mom. Same night, my cousin Jake called out of nowhere. We'd been close as kids but drifted. He didn't even say hello, just launched right in. What the hell is going on with Maddie's birthday? I laughed. Nice to hear from you too, Jake. Your mom is trying to shake everybody down for $500, he said. My mom called to say that was insane. Your mom told her, if you don't have the money, don't come. So my mom very politely declined, said, thanks for the invite, but we don't discuss those kinds of amounts. Good for Aunt Paula, I said. Oh, she didn't stop there, he went on. She called all the relatives. Turns out your mom told everybody the same thing. Pay up or don't bother showing. So no one went. Well, almost no one. I heard Uncle Tim and Aunt Tammy showed up. They've got money to burn. $500 is like $10 to them. Serves them right, I said. Your mom's also telling everyone you've gone off the deep end, he added. That you skipped Maddie's birthday out of jealousy. So I told him the whole story. Harbor House, the dress shopping, my dollar transfer, the blocked numbers. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, he just went quiet. That's messed up, Kate, he said finally. Like, really messed up. 2 days later, Aunt Paula herself called. She hadn't gone to the party, but she'd already heard exactly how it went. Sweetheart, we need to talk, she started gently. If you're calling to tell me to apologize, you can save your breath, I said. No, she sighed. I'm calling because your mother is telling everyone you're having mental problems, that you didn't come to Maddie's birthday out of envy. She keeps saying you started drama over a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I repeated. Aunt Paula, they didn't come to my birthday at all. Instead of a family dinner for my 30th, they went dress shopping with Maddie. That's not a misunderstanding. I walked her through the whole timeline. Harbor House. The text. The silence. When I stopped, there was a long pause. I didn't know, she said quietly. Your mother never mentioned your birthday. At all. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I'll talk to her. Do what you want, I said. I'm done chasing them. A week later, my phone rang at the co-working space reception. Kate Walker, you have visitors in the lobby, the receptionist said. I had a bad feeling immediately. I came downstairs. Of course it was them. My mom looked ready for battle. My dad was shifting awkwardly from foot to foot. This is a circus, my mom announced loudly enough for everyone in the lobby to hear. My own daughter blocked her mother. Is that normal? Ma'am, this is a workspace, not a family therapy room, the front desk guy said. I need you to keep it down or leave. I'm not going anywhere until she talks to me like a human being, my mom yelled. If you want to talk like a human being, you don't ambush your kid at work, I said through clenched teeth. Normal people show up to birthdays they promise to attend. You're being irrational, my dad chimed in. It's obvious you need professional help. My friend Jenny poked her head around a column. Want me to kick them out? She whispered. I can do it politely. I shook my head and grabbed my bag. You want to talk? I said. Then follow me. We walked across the street to a small coffee shop and took a table in the corner. I ordered a double espresso. I had a feeling I'd need it. Okay, I said. Go ahead. You're tearing this family apart. My mom started immediately. No, I said. I'm protecting myself from this family. From what? She demanded. We love you. Interesting way of showing it, I said. Let's do a little test. She frowned. What? What was my major in college? I asked. She blinked. Oh, some kind of design. Graphic design and advertising, I said. And Maddie's major? Public relations and theater, she answered instantly, without even thinking. Right, I said. You know every detail about Maddie. For me, it's some kind of design. That doesn't mean anything, my dad protested. What's my favorite color? I asked. They glanced at each other. Maddie's is pink, I added helpfully. And mine? Silence. Dark blue, I answered myself. Like the dress I wore to my 30th. The one you skipped. This is ridiculous, my mom muttered, but softer now. Maybe for you, I said. For me, it's proof you've never really seen me. I was convenient, independent, didn't demand attention. Maddie was the baby. She always needed something. That's not true, my mom said, eyes starting to shine. Oh, really? I said. When Maddie didn't get the lead in that community theater play, you spent half an hour chewing out the director. When I didn't make the finals of the citywide design competition, you told me, better luck next time. When my company promoted me, you skipped the celebration because Maddie had a runny nose. That's different, my dad said weakly. Those aren't the same situations. How exactly are they different? I asked. Explain it. They couldn't. You're keeping a list, my mom snapped finally. That's not healthy. You're paranoid. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I just finally stopped gaslighting myself. She rolled her eyes. You need therapy, Kate. This is all in your head. Here's what's going to happen, I said, standing up. If you keep showing up at my work or my home, I will file a police report for harassment, and then I'll ask a judge for a restraining order. My mom's mouth dropped open. You wouldn't dare. Try me, I said. I don't want to see you again until you can admit you were wrong. Not just about my birthday, about the way you've treated me my whole life. Until then, stay away. I left them sitting there and walked back to the co-working space, hands shaking. I'd always imagined that kind of confrontation would feel satisfying. It didn't. It just felt necessary. 3 months passed after that coffee shop ambush. 3 blessedly quiet months. I buried myself in work, hung out with friends, and even started seeing a guy from my gym, Max. He's normal, which felt like a revelation. He picks up his own emotional mess, doesn't expect a woman to be his therapist, and has parents who actually attend his milestones. Wild concept. Life, it turned out, was pretty decent when I wasn't constantly bracing for disappointment from my own family. Aunt Paula became my unofficial family news correspondent. She'd stop by every couple of weeks with a cranberry pie and updates I hadn't asked for. "The latest theory from your mother," she said one Sunday, sitting at my kitchen table, "is that you're having a midlife crisis." "I'm 30, not 50, I snorted. "That's what I told her," Paula said. "How can it be midlife at 30, Linda? You're being dramatic." She also became my mom's courier. Out of nowhere, my mom had apparently started baking, something she hadn't done in years, and kept sending Paula over with apple pies and cobblers for Kate. I ate the pies. They were good. I didn't unblock my mom. "She's trying, you know," Paula said softly once. "Maybe," I said. Or maybe it just bothers her that I'm not playing the convenient daughter anymore. One random weekday morning, I was checking email in my pajamas when someone knocked on my door. Not the angry pounding from before, a firm, official knock. I peeked through the peephole and saw a man in a police uniform. My heart stuttered. I opened the door a crack. "Can I help you?" "Kate Walker?" he asked. "Yes." "I'm Officer Mark from the Portland PD, he said. "Your parents filed a complaint." Of course they had. He glanced at his notes. "They're concerned about your unstable behavior. They said you threatened them and sent an insulting bank transfer." I almost laughed. "Come in," I said instead. He stepped into my very boring, very clean condo. Laptop on the table, half-finished coffee, stack of design books. Not exactly the lair of a deranged criminal. I told him everything. I kept it short but honest. The forgotten birthday, the $500 ticket to Maddie's party, my $1 response, the lock change, the scene at my door, the work ambush, the coffee shop conversation. He listened without interrupting, nodding occasionally. "So the insulting transfer was $1, he said finally, lips twitching. With a sarcastic memo, yes, I said. "I'll plead guilty to petty." "There's nothing illegal about being sarcastic with your own money," he said. "And nothing I've heard suggests you're a danger to yourself or anyone else." He paused. "What I do see is a family conflict that they're trying to solve by dragging the police into it. That's not what we're here for." He gave me a card. "If they keep showing up here or at your workplace, you can file a proper harassment report," he said. "If you really want that restraining order, talk to the court clerk. But for now, I'm going to mark this as no further action." "Thank you," I said. Part of me wanted to ask if he'd go back and tell my mother I wasn't insane, just tired. But I figured reality would get to her eventually, one way or another. After he left, I sat on the couch and realized I wasn't shaking. For the first time in my life, an authority figure had listened to my side of the story, looked at my parents' version, and quietly decided I wasn't the problem. That did something deep in my chest. About 6 months have passed since the Harbor House disaster. According to Aunt Paula, my mom had her own moment of reckoning. She ran into an old friend, Karen, a nurse, at the clinic where she works. They started chatting, and of course my mother began complaining about her ungrateful daughter, who threw a tantrum over a birthday and was now punishing them. Karen, bless her, didn't play along. She apparently looked my mom straight in the eye and said, "Linda, do you realize what you did? Your daughter put up with this for 30 years, and you couldn't even show up to her milestone birthday. You picked a dress for the younger one instead. And now you're surprised she snapped?" At first, my mom snapped back. Then, according to Paula, she just broke. Started crying right there in the staff room. They talked for 3 hours. "It really shook her," Paula said. She's not ready to admit anything to you yet, but the wheels are turning. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. In those same 6 months, my life has quietly rearranged itself. I'm working. I'm seeing Max. I meet friends at the dock. I take long walks along the harbor. I come home to an apartment where no one screams at me or gives me the silent treatment. And I'm not begging for crumbs of attention from people who think love means you'll put up with anything. Will I ever speak to my parents and Maddie again? Maybe. If they're ever capable of sitting down as adults and saying, "We screwed up, not just once, but for years." Or maybe we'll never have that conversation. Either way, my life is no longer a waiting room outside their approval. They told me with their actions, "There's no place for you at this table." So I built a new table. And at this one, there's no room for cruelty, manipulation, or family loyalty that only works one way. But I do wonder, from the outside, did I go too far by cutting them off? Or did I finally go just far enough? What would you do in my place?